When people talk about power, they always picture something outside of themselves. They think it's the job, the money, the degree, the connections, the opportunities. They think power is something they have to chase, something somebody else has to hand them. But the truth is, your real power was inside you long before anyone knew your name, long before anybody gave you a chance, long before the world ever clapped for you. The real power is you, and the crazy part, most people walk around every single day with that same power buried inside them like it's nothing. Like it doesn't matter, like it's not the very thing that could change everything in their life if they just tap into it. See, you don't need permission to be great. You don't need somebody to validate you before you get started. Your power doesn't come from applause, it comes from alignment. It comes from waking up and deciding that who you are right now is enough to begin. Most people are waiting on something external to push them, but the ones who rise are the ones who push themselves. The ones who stop waiting for motivation and start creating momentum. The ones who understand that progress doesn't come from pressure on the outside. It comes from pressure on the inside, pushing outward. And here's the thing, when you finally recognize that the power is you, you stop negotiating with your potential. You stop letting your feelings talk you out of your future. You stop believing the narrative that tells you you're too broken, too late, too unqualified. That's not your truth. That's your fear speaking. Your truth is stronger than that. Your truth is louder than that. Your truth is rooted in something deeper than circumstances. It's rooted in choice. Your power begins the moment you choose to stop being a spectator in your own life. You've got something inside you that's been waiting to break out, something the world hasn't even seen yet, something that your family, your friends, your coworkers, they don't even know it exists because you've been hiding it behind doubt, behind excuses, behind the belief that you're not enough. But you are, you always were. The problem is that you've been living at the level of your fear instead of the level of your gift. And as long as you keep doing that, you'll stay small in a life designed for you to grow tall. When you finally understand that your power is you, everything changes. Your decisions change, your habits change, your circle changes. Your expectations change. You stop settling. You stop shrinking to fit into spaces you've outgrown. You stop apologizing for wanting more. Because once you taste your own power, settling becomes impossible. Once you see what you're capable of, there's no going back to who you used to be. Your life doesn't shift when your circumstances change. It shifts when you change. And that shift starts the moment you decide to stand in your power instead of running from it. And once you decide that, nothing on this planet can stop you. You've got to understand something deep. Your power doesn't grow when life gets easy. Your power grows when you start taking responsibility for everything connected to your life. The moment you stop blaming circumstances, people, your past, your mistakes, your upbringing, that's the moment you step into a different version of yourself. Most people stay stuck not because they don't have talent, not because they don't have opportunities, but because they hand their power away every time something gets uncomfortable. They hand it to excuses, they hand it to emotions, they hand it to fear, and then they wonder why they feel empty, tired, or defeated. Power isn't lost accidentally. It's given away piece by piece, and the truth is, nobody's coming to give it back to you. Nobody's coming to rebuild your confidence. Nobody's coming to force you to believe again. That's your job. That's your responsibility. You become powerful the moment you look in the mirror and stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" and start saying, "What can I do with this?" Because that shift, that mindset switch, turns struggle into fuel, setbacks into strategy, pain into direction. You can't control everything around you, but you can always control how you respond, and that's where your real power lies. You have to decide that no matter what tried to break you, it doesn't get to define you. No matter what didn't work out, it doesn't get to stop you. No matter who left, who doubted you, who mistreated you, they don't get to write your story. Your story is written by the energy you show up with every single day, by the discipline you build, by the decisions you make when nobody's watching. Life isn't testing your weakness. It's testing whether you know your strength. And if you keep responding from a place of fear, anger, laziness, or insecurity, you'll stay locked in the version of yourself you were never meant to stay in. You become unstoppable when you stop waiting for permission. You don't need approval to change your life. You don't need applause to grow. You don't need validation to move forward. You only need a decision. A decision that says, I'm done giving away my power. I'm done shrinking. I'm done living below my potential. Once that switch flips, your choices change, your habits change, your circle changes, your standards change. And nothing is more powerful than a person who decides they're no longer negotiable about their own greatness. Your power is you, your will, your discipline, your belief, your resilience, your courage. It's been there the whole time. You just stopped recognizing it because life made you forget. But today is the day you take it back. No more running from your responsibility, no more hiding from your potential, no more denying what you're capable of. The moment you own your life, you own your power. And when you own your power, nothing can stop you. You've got to understand something most people never take the time to grasp. Your power is not hiding somewhere out there in the world. It's not waiting in a book, in a program, in somebody else's approval, in a degree, or in the applause you're hoping to get. Your real power is sitting inside you right now, but most people never access it because they're too busy letting the world convince them they don't have any. And here's the crazy thing. Your power doesn't show up when life is easy. It doesn't reveal itself when everything is going according to plan. Your power shows up the moment you decide you're done letting fear dictate your future. It shows up when you stop waiting for permission, when you stop apologizing for wanting more, when you stop shrinking yourself so other people can feel comfortable. That's when your power starts talking. But you know why so many people never feel powerful? Because they've handed their identity to somebody else. They're letting people who don't know their story tell them who they are. They're carrying words someone spoke over them years ago, and they've let those words become their limits. That's why you've got to take it back. You've got to reclaim your name, your voice, your decisions. You've got to look in the mirror and say, from today forward, I decide who I am. I decide what I'm worth. I decide what I'm capable of. When you take that back, everything changes. And I mean everything. Most people don't fail because of lack of talent. They fail because they aren't rooted in who they are. They don't trust themselves. They don't believe they can stand after they fall. They don't believe they can become more than their environment. When you know who you are, setbacks don't crush you, they refine you. When you know who you are, criticism doesn't destroy you, it sharpens you. When you know who you are, you stop seeking validation and start seeking elevation. Your power comes from identity, not circumstance. From truth, not fear. You've got to stop waiting for someone to rescue you. Stop waiting for somebody to come along and light your fire. That fire is already built into you. You just haven't struck the match yet, and the match is discipline. The match is ownership. The match is saying, I'm done living a watered-down version of myself. You don't need more inspiration. You need activation. You need to take that hidden part of you, the part you've ignored, the part you've doubted, the part you've buried under excuses, and you need to bring it out. That's the version of you that's unstoppable. That's the version that scares your old habits. That's the version that makes your future bigger than your past. Your power becomes visible the moment you take responsibility for your life. Not blaming, not pointing fingers, not saying I can't. Power comes when you say, everything I need I already have, everything I want I can chase, everything I dream I can build. And once you unlock that mindset, you don't walk the same, you don't talk the same, and you definitely don't live the same. Because now you're operating from a place of truth, and the truth is simple. You are the key, you are the ignition, you are the source, your power is you. And once you finally tap into that, nothing and no one can stop you. When you start recognizing that your power is you, you stop waiting for someone else to hand you permission to rise. You stop sitting around hoping somebody sees your worth, hoping somebody validates your dream, hoping somebody comes along and says, you're ready now. You begin to understand that the only validation you've ever needed was your own decision to show up. Most people are stuck not because they don't have talent, not because they don't have potential, but because they keep outsourcing their confidence to people who don't even believe in themselves. They're asking others to co-sign a future those same people never had the courage to chase. But the moment you decide that your future is not up for a vote, that's the moment everything shifts. You have to get to a place where you look in the mirror and remind yourself daily that you are enough. Not enough because you're perfect, not enough because you never make mistakes. Enough because you're willing to grow, willing to evolve, willing to fight for a better version of yourself every single day. You start taking your power back when you stop apologizing for wanting more out of life. You stop shrinking so others can feel comfortable. You stop watering yourself down so you don't intimidate people who never planned to grow in the first place. Your power is in your authenticity, your discipline, your hunger, your resilience. What makes you powerful is that you refuse to quit on yourself. And once you understand that, you start moving differently. You stop letting circumstances dictate your attitude. You stop letting setbacks define you. When life hits, you don't fold. You adjust. You don't see obstacles as dead ends. You see them as detours that force you to level up. Your power is not in avoiding difficulty. Your power is in refusing to let difficulty stop you. There's a version of you that you haven't even met yet, a version that is stronger, sharper, wiser, more focused. But that version only shows up when you stop hiding behind fear and start walking in purpose. You will notice that when you operate from your own power, you stop chasing people. You stop begging for attention, for recognition, for acceptance. You stop trying to prove yourself to everyone. Instead, you start proving yourself to yourself, and when you prove yourself to yourself, you become unstoppable. People feel it, they see it, they respect it. Not because you asked them to, but because your presence carries the weight of someone who finally understands their value. Life will always test you. You'll have moments where doubt creeps in, moments where you feel tired, moments where you question if you're built for the life you're trying to create. But power isn't about never feeling weak. Power is what you choose to do after the weakness shows up. Power is saying, this moment will not own me. Power is standing back up. Power is giving your best even when you don't feel your best. Power is remembering that the gift was placed inside you long before the world tried to convince you otherwise. At the end of the day, your life changes the moment you decide to stop looking outward and start looking inward. Because everything you need, everything you're searching for, everything you're capable of becoming, it's already inside you. You just have to tap into it, and when you finally do, nothing and no one will ever be able to take that from you.